Hi everyone, welcome to Geeta's classes. In this class, we introduce a very important theorem in statistics, the central limit theorem. In simple language, we introduce and understand the theorem and its importance for various business applications. Okay. Before that, let us see about some terminology. In the previous class, we have seen what a population is and a sample is, and they are context dependent. What do you mean by context dependent? In the previous class, we have seen the mayor's election. We have considered the city people as population. But nation-wise, if you consider, country-wise, if you consider, that city will become a sample. Okay. So they are context dependent. And also we have seen sample is a subset of the population and it should be a representative sample of the population. Okay, and any set of data has some mean and some standard deviation, right? Now we have in convention amongst textbook is to denote the mean of data when referring to the population to be the Greek letter mu, and when referring to the standard deviation of the population it will be sigma, right? Similarly, for sample, the mean of the sample is denoted by x bar. These are important, please remember. And the standard deviation of the sample is denoted by small s. Now, as an example, we will consider if you want to find out the average starting salary of all business students who graduated last year in New York City. Consider this as the example. So, the relevant population in this case is all students in the New York City who finished their business education last year, right? Now, clearly this is a large set of people, right? Thousands of people will be there. Now, mean starting salary here is denoted by what? Mu, because this is the population, right? The population of these students who have graduated from New York City. So it is a population, therefore its mean is mu and standard deviation is sigma because it is the population, right? Mu and sigma. Now we are interested in finding the mu, the population mean, mean of starting salary. Okay, starting salary. Now for the population, how can we do, what can we do now, how can we calculate the mean now? One thing is you can go to all the population, all the business students who have graduated last year, find out their initial salary, starting salary, how much they are getting. You have to visit them and find out, then take the average of all these values, you will get perfect value. Is it possible now? No, not at all. So what you do is you select a random sample of say 100 students. Random sample of 100 students we are considering from this population and calculate the mean starting salary in the sample. Assume that I have taken 100 students and the mean is x bar $61,400 and standard deviation also some other number. Okay. So now we wish to make the assessment about mu based on our x bar. So we have taken only 100 students as a sample. From this we are going to assess this mean mu. Okay. This is where the central limit theorem is going to be helpful. Okay. So this is the statement of the theorem. Consider a random sample of n observations. Okay, n observations from a population with mean mu and standard deviation sigma. Always remember, for population mean is mu, standard deviation is sigma. And when you consider the sample, we will consider x bar as the sample mean. Let x bar be the sample mean. Now, the distribution of x bar, we have taken one sample, no? That distribution of this x bar is approximately normal with the same mean. Mean will be equal to the population mean mu and the standard deviation is the population standard deviation divided by root of n. That is, x bar follows, when I take a sample mean, x bar follows a normal distribution with the same mean mu and the standard deviation sigma by root of n, where sigma is the standard deviation of the population and n is the sample size. And this approximation gets better as the size of the sample increases. Okay, when the sample size increases, the approximation will be better. Okay. So in this example, in our example, what does it mean? The population mean salary we are interested in is, it is distribution with mean mu, mean is equal to mu, and the standard deviation will be sigma by root of 100. Because we have taken 100 students in the sample, right? Sample size is 100. Okay. So this is the link we are giving. This is how the sample is statistically linked to the population. And this link is the basis of all inferences that we make using a sample. Okay. Now we will try to understand more about this theorem. Now what does it imply by saying that the sample mean x bar has a normal distribution? See, you took one example of 100 students and found the sample mean to be $61,400, right? If your friend, another friend of you, has taken another 100 students and he found the mean to be $62,200, and another friend has taken one more sample of 100 different. These are different students. Okay, sample 3. Another friend has found out this mean to be x bar to be $65,500, and another friend has found out $66,000, and so on. So many people will find out this, right? And even though these various sample means are different from each other, yet they all are from same population which has a single proportion mean. Population mean mu, and which we don't know. We have to find out, right? And the sigma proportion, standard deviation sigma, which also we don't know. Okay. So the statement that sample mean x bar has normal distribution implies that there is a method to those various sample means that your friends are calculating, right? They all follow the same normal distribution. That is, if you were to plot a histogram of these various sample means, you will get a histogram in the shape of a bell curve. That is, if you plot all these values, whatever values you people are taking, that is your friends are taking, then if you plot all those things, you will get a bell curve, and it will be centered at the population mean mu, which we are interested in finding out. We are supposed to find out mean mu only. Okay. What this means is that with greater probability, we will get a sample mean closer to the population mean we are interested in, and with progressively lesser probabilities, these sample means will occur further away from the actual population mean. What do you mean by that? When the probability is more, it is nearby this population means. When the probability is less, then it will go away from the center, okay, with the population mean. However, typically we do not take multiple samples. Okay, always we will have to make inference about the population mean salary based on a single sample only. Only one sample is to be considered. This is where tools like confidence interval estimation and hypothesis test come handy. Okay, they will be helpful. That we are going to see in the next lessons. And one final point about central limit theorem is you would have noticed that the central limit theorem does not place any restriction on how the population data is distributed. Okay, so it is irrespective of how the population data is distributed, whether it is continuous or discrete data, irrespective of whether it is symmetric data or non-symmetric data, it may be a skewed data or symmetric data, and whether the population has a single mode or has multimodal, and no matter how the population data is distributed, the mean of the random sample from the population always has a normal distribution. That is what the central limit theorem says. In plain language, sample averages are normally distributed. When you consider any sample from the population, sample averages are normally distributed irrespective of where the sample came from. Okay, it is not only they are normally distributed, but more importantly they are normally distributed with mean equal to the population mean. Okay, this is all about central limit theorem. Thank you.